In a shocking stand, the government has said that marital rape cannot be considered as an act of crime as marriage is treated as sacred in the Indian culture. Further cementing the government's view, Minister of State for Home, Haribhai P. Chaudhary said in Parliament that there is no proposal to bring any amendment to the law for criminalizing marital rape. He was replying to a written question of DMK MP Kanimori in Rajya Sabha. Kanimori even quoted the United Nations statistics by saying that 75% of the married women in India were subject to marital rape. Despite Law Commission's recommendations in 2000 and Justice Verma panel's report in 2013, marital rape continues to be unrecognized by law. Preeti Chaudhary is now joining us with more details on this story. Preeti, there is tremendous furor over the stand of the government. Is any agency like the NCW likely to take up this matter with the government over its regressive stand?
Maha, right now I was at the NCW. Nobody really wants to comment on this. Primarily, if we do give our viewers perspective on this, this is just not the government stand. Let's just go back to the the Parliamentary Standing Committee in 2012. It was headed at that time by Mr. Venkaiah Naidu, who today is the Urban Development Minister. There was also members from the Congress in there. There was Mr. Sandeep Dixit, and all parties had actually combined together and said that we cannot, in a country like India, criminalize marital rape. Of course, the Standing Committee came to the conclusion because how marriages in India are considered sacrosanct. That is the reason why we cannot look at criminalizing marriage. Now, the fact that, if there is rape in a marriage, how that tantamounts to be sacrosanct is another argument. Legally, it has been argued forth by stating that it's going to be misused, like the dowry, how the Dowry Act is being misused. But, there is right now, if you look at it, 52 countries across the world have criminalized marital rape. One of them is England, which criminalized marital rape just about 3 years ago. We formulated most of our laws where rape is concerned, Section 375, on the UK law. So if 4 years back, even United Kingdom revised that and include marital rape. Let's look at the kind of studies that have been conducted over the last 10 years. The latest one, which was quoted by Ms. Kanimori, where she put forth this question in Parliament, was the one conducted by the United Nations, which went on to suggest that 2/3 of marriages in India where women suffer from marital rape. What 2/3 of marriages means 75% of marriages in India, the women suffered from marital rape. Let's go back to the Justice Verma Committee right after the Nirbhaya rape. Stated very clearly that we need to widen the ambit of what rape actually means and include marital rape there. But in all, Maha, all our political parties completely eyes wide shut when it comes down to marital rape. It's just not the government. The opposition as well, the Congress today, other political parties also stand together and do not want to criminalize.
That's right. And even from Parliament today, we've only seen women MPs really coming out and speaking about it. Their male counterparts have really no words over this regressive stand of the government. Kamaljeet Kaur Sandhu is now joining us with more details on the Ministry of Home Affairs' next move perhaps on this. Kamal, after this sort of furor that we are seeing, is the Ministry of Home Affairs likely to reconsider their stand on this aspect?
Well, Maha, it's a very well thought out plan, and remember, even when the law was being changed as far as Nirbhaya case was concerned, the entire question of marital rape was raised then also. But yes, in the Indian context, many are saying this is perhaps not practical because this is a patriarchal stand that most people do have. But the fact is, what is surprising is the fact that government has taken a certain stand. Rather than being politically correct, they have taken a stand which seems to have actually needed a lot of women MPs, and we've seen different reactions, including that one of Kanimori, coming ahead and really saying that this is simply not done. Now, they said there's also talk about how this could have been utilized, especially in divorce cases, where women can perhaps use this or misuse that particular law. But they say if there is any law, there could perhaps be loopholes. Doesn't mean that there can't be a law. Many other MPs that we spoke to, including KTS Tulsi, who obviously have greater knowledge of the law, clearly point out out that how important it is to really know the facts, saying a rape is a rape is a rape, and no matter who's done it, whether it's the husband or a man on the street, each one has to be accountable, has to be punished and put behind bars. There's simply no way out. So yes, this has sparked off a debate, but nothing much seems to have changed in Ministry of Home Affairs. We tried to speak to all Kiran Rijiju, Haribhai Chaudhary, whose statement it was, to Rajnath Singh, but yes, the stand doesn't really seem to change. Is it just the mindset of the parliamentarians, of the government, of the men? We'll really have to discuss that out. But at this point of time, Kani Mori saying she's moved a private member's bill. She wants to take this fight further on. She'll simply not take a no for an answer.
In fact, as Kamal was mentioning, that was Kani Mori, the Rajya Sabha MP, who had asked the Home Ministry whether the government planned to bring in a bill to remove the exception to marital rape. Let's listen into Kani Mori after this stand of the government was made clear to her.
Kani Mori has raised a very important question to Ministry of Home Affairs, and obviously the reply coming in is absolutely not satisfactory. The question was on marital rape, and MHA replying saying it's not really valid as it is internationally, but not in the Indian context. Now, how do you take a response like that?
No, the response was very disappointing. I did not expect a reply like that. But you cannot say something it doesn't apply to India because of our traditions, our ethos and poverty in the country. I mean, how can you just say something like we can't bring a law because there's poverty and illiteracy in the country?
Absolutely shocking, but in that sense, how do you plan to take this forward? The reply has come back. Now, what do you propose to do? You're a woman MP, you've been championing causes. So what do you really intend to do? Are you speaking to other like-minded women MPs?
Yes, not women MPs. I'm talking to like-minded MPs from different parties, and I mean, I've been also talking to civil society about this. See, it is not, how can a law like this actually go against a country's belief system? Yes, the institution of marriage is held as sacred by many people across faiths. But doesn't mean that it's going to go against the institution of marriage or our belief system or the value system of India. We passed the dowry laws. Did it hurt marriage? We passed domestic violence laws. Did it do away with the unit of a family?
But do you think it also shows the mindset, and not just about the government's mindset, but also the parliamentarians? It shows a sort of...
It's not just the parliamentarian or the government's mindset. I think there is a very patriarchal way of looking at women's issues. I think we have to break from that. Of course, there is change happening, but we have to break from that and look at women's issues. Like a lot of people who talk against this says this law can be abused.
Right. You're talking about the loopholes in the law.
Every law has a loophole, and we cannot make that an excuse not to bring a law. Every law can be misused. Every law can be abused. So that is no excuse.
Will you be speaking to the Home Minister or the MOS Home? Would you want to have a word with them?
If I get a chance, I would like to represent this issue to them, and definitely I've given a private member's bill. If that can be taken up, I will talk about it, and definitely I'll be raising this in the Parliament time and again.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Kani Mori there speaking on the marital rape issue. To Headlines Today with camera person Rajiv. This is Kamaljeet Sandhu in Delhi for Headlines Today.